Right, we're on. Hey, the sun is out. Short game is what we're talking about today. Last week I gave a lesson to a gentleman who was having trouble with short game, chunking it, chili dipping it, really hitting the bad strikes, really bad strikes, struggling with distance control and obviously any form of control because strike was so bad. So I got my little device out of my golf bag to work on this, purely because technique for him to change technique was too hard. He couldn't feel what we were trying to do, but this device helped. This device made it all happen, purely because it gives instant feedback, audio feedback. The player could hear the position he or she was in. It was a he in this case. So this is hack motion. This device here. So the golfer in question, who wishes to remain anonymous, fair enough, he would release the club early, so there was a lot of wrist cock in here, and he was hitting the ground or thinning his chip shots. It really wasn't good. Setup position was good, up to the top of backswing, so just a little pitch shot. These little shots here are 15, 20, 25 yards through the air, and from there was a real urgency to try and help the ball into the air, real nervous action. Anything that could get that ball into the air was happening, and of course there was heavy strikes and thin strikes from there. Now, as we know, that's not good enough. The player couldn't change no matter what I said to him. I used all different sorts of drills. I tried the old cane up the shaft drill so you could feel whether there was contact in there or not. All those things, none of them worked, and I was starting to doubt myself as a coach. Why is the player not getting this? Why is the player not able to put themselves into the position I'm trying to get them into and create the feeling? It just wasn't happening. So I resorted to the little hack motion device, which simply went on the player's wrist, like so, and then clips onto the glove, like so. Then from there you simply open up the app. There's two versions, there's a pro version and a player version. Player version is for pretty much everyone. The pro version I think is a little bit more expensive, that is for your coach. Then you're simply asked to calibrate your sensor, click calibrate, and to calibrate it's so easy. You just place your wrist nice and flat in its position and then extend it palm upwards, hit the button and return to session. And we're now fully calibrated. You can see there as I move my wrist on the data there. If I go to 3D, there we are, you can see as I move my wrist there. So we've got extension, flexion, radial deviation and ulnar deviation. So radial, ulnar, extension and flexion. For the purpose of this video, we are purely going on extension and flexion, which is basically a cupped wrist and a bent wrist. Cupped wrist and a bowed wrist, not a bent wrist. So extension means cupped. You can see there if I extend, look at that, how that moves. Wherever my arm goes, that's going to go. I extend, so I cup and I bow. Now, player A, let's call him, at impact he would come down, down, down. So I'm in flexion here just now. I've got a cupped wrist, sorry, a bowed wrist, bowed, 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 bowed. Now we get to here and then the player started to cup the wrist into impact, and of course we were here, and you can see how large that number is, number 50 at impact, because of the angle created between left arm and shaft. Now that was really bad. That's where we were hitting the ground first, and that's where the thin strike came from. Now what I can do here is I can simply, when I go to menu, I go to audio feedback, and I can create a parameter there of whichever distance I want to go between. Let's go between, just for example, let's go between 20 degrees minus and 20 degrees plus, which gives us some room for manoeuvre. I'm going to turn the volume up on this so you can hear this. So now you can probably hear that when my wrist is in between minus 20 and plus 20. Hack motion then makes a noise. So through impact, for the player to ensure he heard the tone, we knew the left wrist was flat. So if the left wrist is flat through impact there, and the tone was always on, we knew the impact was going to be great. Oh, I knew from there, if we can keep some tone there, there's quite a large range, and there's quite a large discrepancy there, but at least it understood how, or the player could hear when he was in the right position. So at address position, now there is an element of cupping at address, because unless you lean the shaft forward, which is where we want to be at impact, so I tried to ensure the player could hear the noise through impact, like so. So address position, good. There's a little bit of cupping, which is taking us to plus 26 out of the range. Back, keep the noise on the way through. So there. To improve strike, absolute brilliant. Okay, ball turf. Oh, ball turf strike there. So hack motion there is gathering data, knowing there's a ball being struck. And there's so much data you can collect from this. We purely used it for the audio, and today's video is going to be purely about the audio. I will do another video at some point talking about the data, but really we used the audio side of things. We used the audio side of things purely because that's how the player could learn. Okay, so it's gathering data. It thinks I've hit a shot there. Here we go. Good again. Hack motion gathering more data, so then you can compare about good strike and bad strike. And of course, with full swing, hack motion is used for full swing. Up to the top, where are we? Where are we at the top of the swing? But very rarely have I seen guys use it with short game. There, maintain the sound, maintain the sound, maintain the sound on the shot, maintain the sound. And what that did for the player was it ensured the body rotated. So it was all body turn. It was all body turn instead of hands and wrists. You can see I've got ball turf strike because I'm able there to get the body to turn to ensure I get the compression. None of the club head leakage or the club head throwaway. That's no use. It's disappeared, the noise. It was really good. We then took this a step further. So the step further, we worked on putting. I wanted to see him putt to see if... That's slightly annoying. To see if this related into his the rest of his game, which it did. Okay. And I could see he was a real flicker with the putts, especially with long putts. Also short putts. He was left hand down, he was a little bit flicky. So we changed the parameters. So his wrist at address with putting was slightly cupped. So we left that in. We went down to 0 and we left the cupping in. So we went to 18, I think it was, yes, we had 18 degrees. I'm going to go 20 because of my grip. So relevant to me. So, address position. Again, we wanted to hear the tone all the time. So address position is correct. There's a tone at address position. I'm standing there at plus 10, plus 11, plus 10, 8, 7. And I wanted to maintain that for the whole stroke. So there, this is very precise. So there's no movement whatsoever with putting. There is a part of on the app, there is a putting section. We purely used the practice one with the audio. So I've not gone as deep into the app as I possibly could have gone. Another video I'll probably do that, but today let's just talk about how I worked with this gentleman in the first place. Took address position, he was there. So he was there at address and he was very flicky, long putts, really flicky. Address position, good, there we are, my plus 10 and maintain plus 10. Excellent. Again, plus 10, round about there, so there we are, maintain that tone. So started there on plus 14, but there's a tolerance obviously. But I mean, he was here to there, minus 12, let's say, through impact, plus 40. He must have been, I mean, it was, distance control was completely off. Distance control was completely off because the hands weren't doing anything. The club head was flying past. It started to rain. So short and long putts. So short putts, he was great. There he is, starting there at his plus 14-ish. Maintaining that longer stroke. We increased the length of stroke and try and maintained the tone. Stepped on, longer stroke. Maintained the tone. You can see how my shoulders are now working. It's no longer from the wrist, but it's from the fulcrum. It's from up here now instead of from here. The pitching was from up top, so well, of course it's different tolerance now, but pitching was pivot driven instead of the hands and wrists. So a very, very good piece of equipment. There's the plus 10. Right through, we held the tone, stepped on the next one, held the tone, and his short game was just transformed. It was brilliant. As I say, Hack Motion, brilliant stuff. There's loads more to the app. I'm just touching the audio side of things, but there's data, you can gather data, you can test data against your previous practice session, and so on. So you can work on your skills. You can put it on your right wrist as well. So if you're coming into impact and you want to try and work on the right wrist position, holding this back, you can place it on there. You don't need to wear a glove. There's other ways you can do it. But brilliant. So yeah, Hack Motion. Look at the mess I've made on this screen. So there we go, Hack Motion. Not just the lead wrist, you could use it on your trail wrist as well. But an absolutely fantastic training aid for gathering data and comparing how you're performing against your previous data is very, very good. As I mentioned, I've purely mentioned here today, I've just touched on the audio side of things because that's how the player I was coaching was able to learn. And that is the first time I've used the Hack Motion unit. I've had it for a while. I've been meaning to do a review of it for a long time, but because I'd experienced it in the field, if you like, I thought today was a good time, while it was fresh in my mind, to discuss how I used it. Going forward, I will use more data. I'll use it like it's supposed to be used and gather data and probably work on my swing. I might use it for my left-handed golf. In fact, let's do that. Let's use it for my left-handed golf. Brilliant. I've left a link in the description below. There's also a little promo code in the description below, so if you want a discount on one, you'll get one. And I will see you in my next video, only if you subscribe to the channel. Turn this off now. Subscribe, please subscribe. Thank you. Bye.